The first witness is Mr. Joey Joey Durel Jr. He is the president of the Lafayette, Louisiana City Parish, and he is testifying on behalf of the American Public Power Association. Under his leadership, Lafayette has successfully deployed municipal broadband facilities. We welcome you, sir. Whenever you are ready, you have 5 minutes to make an opening statement.
Thank you. Good morning, Chairman Markey, Ranking Member Stearns, and members of the Telecommunications Subcommittee. My name is Joey Durel, and I'm the City Parish President of Lafayette, Louisiana. I'm testifying today on behalf of the American Public Power Association, of which Lafayette is a member, and I am also the current Vice Chairman of the APPA Policymakers Council. The American Public Power Association is a nationwide service organization representing the interests of the nation's more than 2,000 state and community-owned electrical utilities that collectively serve over 44 million Americans. Now I'm going to tell you a little bit about Lafayette's story and what we did. I ran for office for the first time in 2003 and was elected at the end of 2003, took office in 2004 in January. And when people ask me why, as I'm sure many of you heard at some time in your political career, why in the world would you do this? Why would you do this to your family? The first answer that came out of my mouth was, I want my kids to stay home. We have an out-migration in Louisiana of our greatest export, which of course is our kids. We educate them well for many of you, send them to your states. And one of the things that I said was, we have to get out of the box. You know, I hear politicians talk. That was one of my frustrations. I've heard politicians talk in Louisiana for a long time about getting things done, and they never did anything to correct this issue that I saw. And what I learned as we went through our little journey is that the reason people stay in the box is because getting out of the box can make many people very uncomfortable. One of the things that we were able to do in our battle, and by the way, let me stress real quick, I know I've heard a lot about wireless. What we're doing is a fiber optics. We're deploying fiber optics throughout our community to our 125 residents and businesses. And one of the first things I was able to do, because I don't see this as a partisan issue, is we were able to get the Democratic Party in Lafayette and the Republican Party in Lafayette to stand hand in hand for something that they saw as being important to the citizens. And so that was, and by the way, my going in there, I am the Republican mayor of Lafayette, so naturally the Democratic Party would have been against it normally, and the Republicans would have been against it because of various mantra that we hear all the time. And Lafayette is also the 9th most conservative city in America, according to a study at Berkeley. All the past presidents of our Chamber of Commerce.
For Berkeley to pick you out.
That's right. I agree.
9 most conservative. That's quite an honor.
That's why I stress that.
Yeah.
All the past presidents of the Lafayette Chamber of Commerce, of which I was a member, a past president, endorsed the project. Every single business organization in Lafayette endorsed the project, and ultimately we took it to a vote of the people, and we got a 62 to 38% vote of that very conservative community in favor of it. One of the things we did a little bit to sell the project was that we were going to provide much better service for 20% or so cheaper than what they could get. But that wasn't the motive for me. It was economic development. It was getting out of the box to try to keep our young people home. We're going to have something, and I think this is a strong statement, but we're going to have, you're not going to have in Washington 20 or 25 years from now. In fact, probably 90% of America won't have 20 or 25 years from now, and I think that's a sin for America. And the reason, and when I say that, what I'm stressing is not just the fiber optics, but we're going to have something initially that I hope some others will have in the not too distant future. But we hear a lot about megabits per second, and one of the things you hear is, 1, 2 megabits per second. When we start ours up at the end of this year, and we're in the wholesale business right now, so we've been doing this for a few years, but we're getting into the retail, television, telephone, and internet business. We're going to be able to provide our citizens, peer-to-peer, customer-to-customer, 100 megabits per second for free. We are currently sending a gigabit, 1,000 megabits per second to our school board, and 100 megabits to every school in Lafayette Parish. Since we started talking about it, we have a company from Canada called Newcom that has come into Lafayette and providing 100 jobs, and it's a technology kind of company. And I asked the owner, I said, we don't even have it yet. Why are you here? He said, just the fact that y'all are making technology such a priority is what drove us here from among 200 cities that we were competing with around the world. The digital divide. I heard somebody mention the digital divide. We think we'll be the first community in America to solve that issue. People on our system will be able to surf the internet from their televisions, with a wireless keypad and a wireless mouse. I'm going to say this anyway, even though I debated. And this is very tongue-in-cheek, but I hope 49 states outlaw doing what we're doing. And I say that in a way to make a point, because what I would tell those states is please send your technology companies to Lafayette, Louisiana, where we will welcome them with open arms and a gumbo. But the point is, I think we have an opportunity in America, just like we did in the 1890s with electricity. We were told in 1896 or so that the private companies couldn't justify bringing electricity to our little town. And so our message to our citizens over the last 3 or 4 years was a really good message and a really easy message, because we told them, if we don't do it, we're not going to get it. And I want you to know, I begged the private companies to do it so we wouldn't have to. I begged them in my office, I begged them publicly, I begged them to do it. Because why would we want to do something like this? But it turns out that we have an opportunity to do something where a town in South Louisiana is leading America in something that we hope the rest of America will follow one day. So hopefully what you'll do with this bill, as it relates to what we're doing, is remove any impediments from municipalities from giving what we talked about, what I've heard talked about today, is competition, because that's what's made America great. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Durel. And I can tell you honestly that it was greatly upsetting to us when the rankings came out and we in Boston were number 2 to Berkeley on the list of most liberal communities. And but on this question of competition, I am in violent agreement with Lafayette in terms of the need to put aside ideology to work on the issue of ensuring that we have the maximum broadband deployment.